Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, today is the updated review of the Halo 4 Burner Elite Griddle. Since my very first video uploaded, there's been a lot of controversy of how hot can it get? Did I blow it out of proportion? We're going to kind of go along those lines of communication to show you where I come from. We're going to cook eggs on it on low to show you that there's no problem cooking on low on this griddle. Kind of go over some of the key features that I feel like have been a highlight. We're also going to show you some downsides. You guys stick around and let's see what happens. All right, before we get started with the video, I just want to share some exciting news. You guys know I'm a t-shirt fan. We have t-shirts on the website we're very proud of. We thought we would just up the game one more step. All the t-shirts out there, I feel like, are geared towards like grilling and smoking. There's not a lot of awesome style griddling t-shirts. So this is what we got. The colors can change depending on what we're doing. These are not available yet, but these are the sneak peeks. As soon as they will be available, I promise you we'll let you know. This is Body by Griddle. I made that little joke when I was running with the tire behind me, and I said Body by Griddle. Now you guys see why. You got the stack of pancakes, the burger, curling that with a big old bicep, reminds me of my arm. And then obviously you can't think about a griddle without thinking about camping, RVing, the mountains. I just thought that was a really cool representation. And the one that I'm probably most proud of, we're going to have a couple different color schemes coming up, but good old Uncle Sam pointing that spatula at you. Guts, glory, and griddles. So that's our sneak peek. You guys can check out our website, theflattopking.com. We have our seasonings, and also when these are available, they will be posted there.
Just like 2 weeks.
Yep. All right, let's get to what we're here for. All right, so in this video, this is how I kind of like want to do this video. I've noticed on the griddle group, along with other groups, that there has been some concerns about certain things of the griddle. I'm going to gotta give you like my experience the last 3 to 4 months with it. Do the concerns, have I seen the concerns? Do I understand the concerns? Are they valid concerns? The first thing is the excitement over the ability to level your griddle. Now it comes with a level, it comes with this little tool right here, and you get down here and you can adjust your legs. My deck only drops a 1/4 inch for 16 feet because it's covered, okay? I still cannot get my griddle level doing the legs. You've got a very, very, very short amount of space to level your griddle. So although it is a feature, I have seen some people complain that they can't get their griddle level either. You know, is that a make it or break it? I don't think so. You know, obviously you can build a pad. Some people have, mentioned you can put wedges underneath, whatever. There's always fixes. I actually cook with it. Most of my griddles unlevel anyway, so it doesn't bother me at all. The one downside I do see is kind of like a catch-22. The more you unscrew them, the less stability you have if you're going to end up moving your griddle often. I move my griddles often. So unfortunately, I don't think I can get the full representation of how close to level I can get because I don't feel like screwing it back every single time I move it. So for there, I've got mine parked where it's at. It's been like that since I've got it, but it's still not level. I'll just show you really quick. You guys can see right there in the bubble. I mean, it's close, but it's good enough. See how we're way over here? So I don't need to come up a little bit. I'm going to put it on the griddle.
I was going to put
Well, it's the same thing. So it runs downhill. That's the way my deck runs. But I would never be able to get my griddle level. And honestly, to me, I don't think it's a make or break it. Okay.
Are we going to address the zebra stripe deck or no?
Is this the first time they've ever seen it?
Probably.
We added on to the deck. We had to add on to the deck.
We had too many grills.
Yeah. We added on to the deck. We doubled the deck. I know you guys have said and laughed at me for years or months that it's time to upgrade the deck again. We did. I really wish, I've said it before, there was a shelf there. It's just because you're used to having one with other griddles. Down here on the regulator, it was mentioned in the very first video. Well, you have a 9.5 column and 11 column. I think it's been stated many, many, many times on these forums that there's really no reason for it. Like hot is hot, cold is cold. I can't tell that much of a difference between 11 and 9.5. Ever since we did our first cook, and I've probably done 60 to 70 cooks on this by now, not all of them on film, I've never even turned it up to 11 water column. We only season the griddle on the 11 because that's kind of like the way the instructions kind of led you to believe. But ever since we started cooking with it, we try to dial the temperature back down. And I've had it on the 9.5 column the whole time. So, you know, whatever column you decide to use, that's fine. Coming back up, not a lot of people have complained about the peep sights. I was one of the people that complained about it. You can definitely tell that there's a burner on. To me, it's just really hard to justify or tell if both burners are on. Both burners, I've never had a problem with any of my burners at all. They work flawlessly. As you guys notice or know, that this is the 8-burner system. One thing I did the other day, which is not on video because I didn't want anybody to see it, I was messing around. I actually took my griddle plate off, and you'll be surprised how much junk leaks in between here. And I actually cleaned that up really well. I had a rust spot underneath, not on my griddle, but inside of my griddle plate, my housing unit. I just scrubbed it down really quick and re-oiled it. Not on my griddle, but inside the housing. I think it's going to be fine. But I was surprised how much food dropped in there. Moving up to the lid. Nobody has complained about the lid, and I, for one, am super excited about the lid. I think it does a flawless job. I've definitely seen some people say how much they love the shelf. I, for one, completely agree. When I did that smoking video where we actually smoke meat, because now you've got the insulated hood. Let me pull this out just a hair. You'll notice, if she can get a good shot about this backside, can you get a good shot right here? That your...
Hang on, move your hand.
Oh, sorry. That the shelf actually backs up and cantilevers over your unit. Well, the heat actually pours out. You can see right here the vents. We can close the lid. You see the vents right here? We're going to turn this griddle around so you can get a good... You see how much paint chipped off my griddle? That's because the barbecue sauces were dripping down, and I honestly had no idea.
That's because the
cantilever. Yeah, that's because the lid was open.
Over.
Right. It was over, and those barbecue sauces were dripping down, and I just did not realize that it was over the griddle. It's a different point of view when you're looking at the griddle. So since I was going to sear those meats off, I cranked the griddle up, and obviously that's where the heat pours out, and then it just singed that dang barbecue sauce, and it was hard as nails to clean off. I'm just letting you know, these are the things that I've learned in the last 3 or 4 months. I'm just letting you guys be aware of. It's not the griddle's fault. It was my fault. But that's what happened. And I'll tell you the truth, whether it's good or bad. I've said before, since we're back here, I love the grease. I mean, the propane tank, the holder. It's been very secure. I like how easy it is to get to. Back to the wheels. I don't know if I mentioned it because about the height. The wheels are probably, as a griddle goes, probably the best in the business. About easy to move. They're a little bit bigger than most. Have no problems moving at all. The grease trap has not been a problem on the back side. I just take it off. I actually use aluminum foil. We cooked on it yesterday. There'll be a video posting soon. I'm going to start using a little bit more of the halo. But this little edge right here just goes underneath this edge, and it locks into place just like that. And the grease folds right in. I have no problems with the grease trap. The shelves themselves are the shelves themselves. They're not the best in the business, but you know, they do their job. They fold down. I like the fact that both of them fold down. I've always said that. I need the storage space, so it's very important for me. I do wish they were more a little bit like you know, I just wish they were larger, but that's my point of view, especially if you don't have a side shelf or a bottom shelf or something like that. And last is the little squeegee part right here. Mine's flaking or breaking too. That seems like a big concern going on right now. I don't think there's an actual replacement. I could be wrong, but I think it's just the effect of just the overall heat drawing out silicone. And then, you know, that's just a natural thing. So it seems like it's a great idea, but it's just another one of those ideas that just doesn't seem like it works perfectly. So that's my experience, right? But I still have the griddle on the deck for a reason, because I like the griddle. And I want that to be expressed. None of the good comments I ever made about this griddle is ever expressed. There's always the negatives. The biggest thing that has caused a ruckus, the biggest thing has caused a concern, the biggest thing has raised a bunch of eyebrows. Did I mention this specifically for views? Did I mention it specifically because I had an axe to grind? Did I mention it because I didn't know what I was talking about and I should have learned the griddle before we even launched the videos? Does the griddle get too hot? The simple answer is yes. But I want this disclaimer to put in there, and I wish this one sentence would have been in that very first video, and I think it would have given you a whole different outlook on whether or not this griddle does get too hot. That was a seasoning video. That was with all burners on high, like the manual says. It was also in the 11 water column, which I've never used again. And that was for an extended period of time. At about the 20-minute mark, when we're seasoning, our griddle reached about 670 or like 680 to 700 degrees. That's the hottest I've ever experienced a griddle. It did kind of push us back a little bit and make us a little bit scared. Not scared, but I mean, I'm like, holy crap. You know, it's hot. Like, this thing is hotter than anything we've experienced. So hot that we felt like we needed to pull it away from the wall because the heat was escaping the back. That's where the vents are. So I don't regret making the video. What I regret is mentioning that, like, this is only a seasoning video. I have never recommended for you to cook on high. Matter of fact, I think I stated minimum of 100 times through 450 videos, you might as well cook on low, because most griddles that we've used in the 6 brands that we've used have all had not a true low temperature. So once you turn on low, you're going to reach kind of like a medium to medium high temperature anyways. I've always been a big proponent, is that the right word, of cooking on low and building your heat up. So I've also teach zone cooking. The most important thing about this griddle, and why I like the griddle, is because it does teach you zone cooking, okay? The difference is the way the 8-burner systems are set up, you find yourself using lateral zones versus horizontal zones. That was another fault of mine. Since the front row can be turned on without the back row, then it was under my assumption that the first zone cooking I was going to learn was front to back. Ultimately, to reach those very, very low temperatures at 300, you're going to need to alternate your burners. Maybe turn this one burner on low, and then you're going to have an infrared gun thermometer with this griddle to get comfortable with it, to learn your temperatures. We've also done that in the video, right? Because I took it seriously. I wanted to know my zones, so I didn't have to rely on the gun as much. To say that this griddle can hit 300, I think, is not a fair assessment. Because you're not going to be able to use the whole griddle in 300. You might be able to turn the whole griddle on and then have your thermometer and weight here. And then as the griddle builds up heat, then say, oh, it's at 300. But if that's the case, then every single griddle I've ever cooked on can say the same thing. The one claim to fame that it does have is the power that it possesses. The 750 degree to 820 degree mark is very impressive, but it's also a ton of heat putting off. It's hard to stand near it and be able to justify that much heat. Just think about an oven indoors, right? Most ovens go to 500 degrees. When you open that oven door, look at that heat hitting you in the face. Or how many times you open it up and you're like, whew, that's hot. Now imagine 250 degrees more. So yeah, this thing is like a Ferrari. It can get hot if you use all 8 burners and if you have it in the water column on 11. All right, so all that being said about the temperatures, about whether or not I worded it in a way, I guess if there's one thing I could go back and say too, I never meant any harm to the brand. I never meant any harm to the griddle community. I never meant any harm to anybody for that video. That video was a straight from the heart, our first reaction of the griddle. And I said many times in that video, we need to cook on it to feel confident on it. It's a different learning process.
And
in the same video, are you going to say something about the egg?
No, I was going to say that's how we've done every single video.
No difference. When I did the Weber, I scolded the Weber. I think it looks like a toy. I still think it looks like that. But the performance and how true low of a temperature it can get is something I enjoy. I'm going to turn these 2 burners. I'm going to start cooking while I talk, because I think that's very important for you guys to understand that, yes, you can cook stuff on low temperatures, okay? I'm just going to turn it on low, so now we got both sides on low. The one thing that I'll say that I do disagree wholeheartedly with this idea of, to make this griddle a success, I've seen where some people have stated several times that all your prep work has to be done 100%. And you only need an 8 to 10 minute preheat time. And you have to be ready to go, because once you add the ingredients, it's going to cool the temperature back down on your griddle, and then you're okay. Adding your ingredients to any griddle is going to cool the griddle down, not just this one. I am a family man. My kids play outside. My wife works outside. We enlarge our deck for entertainment. I also film, so I've got a different point of view from most people. I look at cooking as kind of like a stress-free zone for me. So I guess the way that I take that response is like, I don't want to come out here with a stopwatch and make sure every single ingredient that I've got is ready to use. So if I turn all my griddle on and I set a timer for 8 minutes every time, well, what if you forget something? What if one of your kids is fighting and you got to go, stop them on the trampoline from, scratching each other or something, I mean, if you come back 12, 14 minutes later, did you just ruin your cook? That's kind of like the vibe I get. That's kind of like not the vibe I want to portray when using this griddle. I think the griddle is more than an 8-minute preheat time. I think it's more about zone cooking, right? You can adjust these once you get this, which I'd recommend this griddle to anybody, especially if you're brand new to grilling because you haven't learned any bad habits. If you can learn this and don't learn anything else, then I think your learning curve is a lot closer than learning on like a Weber where you need to adjust the heat all the time to get the heat that you like, versus this is more like a zone cooking. The one downfall with zone cooking is I feel like you also lose a little bit of the real estate space that you're accustomed to having. This being a true 4-burner, it's one of the largest 4 burners on the market. If I'm only going to turn these 2 burners on just to cook an egg, then I feel like I don't have the ability to use the real estate space over here while cooking, if that makes sense, because you're not able to use the whole griddle. If you do turn the whole burner on system, the whole system on low, and have all 8 burners on, within about 12, 15 minutes, maybe, I don't know. I don't really look at times anymore. You are going to hit about 550 degrees. And that's on low. And that's why I say this griddle does get hot. You just have to manage the temperatures and just... I'm not being rude when I say this, but just common sense has to play an effect. Let me just try to prove this point. In that seasoning video, the very first video, at the very end of the video, we cooked an egg on it. So we get a lot of comments. Is the griddle too hot? Will it burn my food? Can I actually cook an egg? We literally did it in the video. Yes, this griddle can do anything you want it to. Bacon, steaks, eggs, you name it. So I just want to make sure that that's clarified from my mouth. As long as this griddle is used properly, the build quality is there. I can find something wrong with every griddle I've got, even the Traeger, and I love my Traeger. Because if I turn it on low and I go play with my kids and I come back, I don't have to worry about overshooting the temperatures. The same thing with my Weber. With this, you're just playing a little bit more mindful. That's it. We're going to cook eggs right now, just like you would if you're at home. There's no temperature gun right now. My unit's on low, and I'm watching my butter. I have preached to watch your butter for years because that's an easy way. I like to have butter with eggs anyways. That's a direct reflection of how hot your griddle is, right? The other idea is this griddle retains so much heat that you can actually turn your griddle off and have the residual heat coming down to cook your eggs after you cook your sausage, your steaks, your bacon, whatever. As a beginner or anybody that really wants to perfect this griddle, I highly recommend one of these infrared thermometers. They're widely available. We have one on our Amazon cart. I don't care if you get it from us or not. I'm not here to sell you on it. But I always say about 300 degrees is like a perfect starting point, and we're pretty close there. We're not burning anything. We can make perfect eggs on this. Matter of fact, it's ironic because we made a massive breakfast with perfectly cooked eggs, crispy hash browns. Did we do biscuits?
Pancakes?
Is that what it was, pancakes?
I don't know.
We did pancakes that were golden brown, not burnt. I just wish that one sentence was put in there that was a seasoning video only, not a cooking video. You guys can see that we're warming up nicely. What happens is, let me show you what zone cooking really is, okay? So zone cooking basically is looking at your vertical lines on your griddle. Sometimes you can adjust, sometimes you can put these 2 on. There's plenty of configurations you can use. Plus, if you really wanted to, you could take this griddle and then instead of doing both on low, you can turn this one eye on and keep that one eye off. Like I said, it's going to take a while, but this is what happens, okay? This is why I say you truly can't get a 300 degree low, because unless you're just timing it coming up, it's going to overshoot it. See how we're losing temperature there, 200? Can you actually see that? Mm-hmm. And then 160, 155. So what that shows you is the heat builds here, and then it displaces down because there's no fire under here. There's plenty of times when you get this griddle, you'll learn that you can actually cook off the fire just by the heat displacement. And that's how you get your like lower temperatures. So we can help you do that. There's easy ways to do that. I have the option of any consumer out there to cook on any griddle I want. I don't have a contract with a griddle company. I'm a consumer just like you are, and I enjoy cooking on the griddles. The Halo is on my deck for a reason. I enjoy cooking on it. If I didn't enjoy cooking on it, I wouldn't have it on my deck. So I think that says a lot. So, to me, it's going to cut the heat. You don't need the heat. The one thing that we never mentioned is how thick the griddle plate is. That's one of the things that set this griddle apart from other ones. You'll hear some people say that it uses less propane because you don't have to use all your burners all the time.
Perfectly cooked eggs.
And last but not least, not beating a dead horse, but there's another comment out there that says he should at least know how to use it before he starts cooking on it, starts filming on it, right? I don't believe in that. I believe we have done every single video or every single review the same way. Our first look, our first impressions, and our first seasonings. We allowed you guys to join the ride with us. That's why I kind of like, maybe I was just surprised by the backlash, because people said that, well, the griddle was too hot. But then we also followed up with another video that showed that the griddle wasn't that hot. And then we did a fantastic breakfast. And that was all within 2 weeks. So I'm never going to treat a griddle any different. And I'm never going to stray away from honesty. I think that's where we've got here today, is just being brutally honest. Other than that, that's about it. Like we said many times, if you guys are interested, hit that join button down below. It's a membership program. We thank each and every one of you for taking time for doing so. You'd also check us out on the Griddle Group on Facebook, where ironically this has been the topic of discussion for some time, and hopefully I've calmed the fears. You can cook on low. You can have a fantastic breakfast, fantastic lunch, fantastic dinner. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share with your friends. Peace.